inside the golden hall of Jinshan Temple. Incense smoke curled toward the rafters as Miss Wenjiao distributed shoes and stockings to the monks. When the last devotee drifted away, a young monk knelt before her. She bade him remove his shoes. There, on his left foot, the smallest toe was missing. Mother and son clasped each other and wept, while the old abbot F.A. Ming watched with glistening eyes. F.A. Ming spoke softly, his voice edged with urgency. Mother and son are reunited at last, but the villain Lu Hong still rules Jiangzhou. If he learns of this meeting, no force in this temple can shield you. Leave now, before dawn breaks, and let the river swallow your tracks. Miss Wenjiao dried her tears and nodded. She had planned for this moment, and every heartbeat counted. She pressed a fragrant incense ring into her son's palm and spoke quickly. Travel northwest to Hangzhou, 1,500 li from here, at a place called Wanhua Inn. Your grandmother Zhang Shi waits, abandoned and alone, your father's own mother. Find her, then carry my sealed letter to the imperial capital, to Grand Counselor Yin Kaishen's mansion beside the Golden Hall. He is my father, your grandfather. Given this letter, she continued, her voice trembling. Tell him to petition the Tang Emperor to raise an army and strike down Lu Hong, to avenge your father and free me from this living hell. I cannot stay. The villain will wonder why I tarried. She held her son one last time, then turned and stepped aboard the waiting boat. The current carried her away into the darkness. Xuanzang wept all the way back to the temple. He bowed before his master, F.A. Ming, packed nothing but the incense ring and his mother's letter, and set out alone on the road to Hangzhou. Through forests and ferry crossings, past farming villages and misty riversides, the young monk walked with purpose burning in his chest. 1,500 li stretched before him, and he did not falter. At last he reached Wanhua Inn and found the innkeeper, Lu Shower, sweeping the threshold. Years ago, Xuanzang asked, a gentleman named Chen lodged here with his mother. Does she still dwell under your roof? Lu Shower shook his head with a sigh. She stayed 3 or 4 years, but her eyes clouded over and she could not pay. Now she begs outside the south gate, in a ruined hut, scraping by on alms. The word struck Xuanzang like a blade. He followed the road to the south gate and found a crumbling tile shack half buried in weeds. An old woman sat hunched in the doorway, her clouded eyes staring at nothing. Your voice sounds like my son, Chen Guangrui, she whispered when he spoke. I am not Chen Guangrui, Xuanzang replied, kneeling. I am his son. Miss Wenjiao is my mother. The grandmother's face crumpled. Why have your father and mother not come themselves? Xuanzang lowered his head. My father was beaten to death by a river bandit. My mother was seized and forced to be that bandit's wife. The old woman seized the letter and incense ring and broke into wrenching sobs. My son came here seeking glory, and I thought he had forgotten me. Now I learn he was murdered. She wept and clutched the letter to her chest. But heaven has shown mercy, sending a grandson to find me at last. Xuanzang asked why her eyes had failed. Day and night, I watched the road for your father, she said. When he never returned, I wept until my sight dimmed and the world went dark. Xuanzang knelt in the dirt and raised his face to the sky. I am 18 years old, he prayed aloud, and my parents' vengeance is still undone. Today I have come by my mother's command to find my grandmother. If heaven sees the sincerity of this disciple's heart, restore my grandmother's eyes to clarity. He bowed, then leaned forward and gently licked her clouded eyes with the tip of his tongue, again and again, with filial devotion. Within moments, the milky film dissolved. The grandmother blinked again, and gasped. The world swam into focus, bright and vivid after years of darkness. She stared at the young monk kneeling before her, and her hands flew to her mouth. You are truly my grandson. Your face is identical to my son Guangrui's, as though he stood before me reborn. Joy and grief collided in her trembling voice. Xuanzang led his grandmother out of the ruined shack and back to Lu Shao'ersin. He paid for a room, settled her with food and money, and promised, "I will return within a month." Then he shouldered his pack and set his face toward the imperial capital, where his grandfather, Grand Counselor Yin Kai-shan, held court beside the Tang Emperor's golden throne. Vengeance drove him forward. He reached the capital and found the grand mansion of Grand Counselor Yin Kai-shan on the Eastern Avenue. He told the gatekeeper, "I am a relative come to visit the counselor." The gatekeeper reported this inside. The counselor frowned. "I have no monastic relatives." But the madam rose swiftly. "Last night, I dreamed my daughter man Tang Jiao came home. Perhaps her husband has sent word." The counselor ordered the young monk brought to the hall. Xuanzang knelt before his grandparents, tears streaming, and drew the sealed letter from his robes. The counselor broke the seal and read. His face went white, then crumpled. He wept openly, the letter shaking in his hands. "What is it?" the madam cried. "This monk is our grandson. Shen Guangrui was murdered. Our daughter is a bandit's captive." The madam collapsed in grief. The counselor steadied himself and spoke with iron resolve. "Weep no more. At dawn, I will petition His Majesty to raise an army and destroy this villain." The next morning, the counselor entered the palace and laid the crime before the Tang Emperor, who thundered with rage. 60,000 imperial guards were marshaled, and the counselor himself took command, marching south toward Jiangzhou. They marched day and night until Jiangzhou appeared on the horizon. The army camped on the north bank, and the counselor summoned local officials to join the assault. Before dawn, they crossed the water and surrounded Lu Hong's yamen. Cannon fire shattered the silence. Soldiers stormed the gates.